I was raised in a military school overseas. My dad was in the military, and we moved to the States, and I had enough credits to graduate early. I did not like going to school in the United States. I did not like it. It was not a good experience for me. So we had a meeting with my parents and the principal, and he said, my dad said, give me 1 semester straight A's. You give me straight A's, you can get out of school early. But the principal said, you either have to go into a trade school or into the military, and I was underage, so my dad would have to sign off for me to do that. And he said, there is no way I'm putting you in the Air Force and putting you behind a $1 million machine. There is no way. And I thought, okay, so trade school, I just didn't want to go to school. And I said, you know what, I'm going to go do hair. It's so interesting to me. I never in my life, when I was growing up, thought I'm going to go do hair. I never had that. I went to cosmetology school. And what was interesting is cosmetology school, I went to school during the day and I worked there at night in the lab to make income. And I was the one that was mixing color for all those students. And I was making developers with the hydrometer, because remember it was 120 volume and we had to mix it with distilled water. I think that's when I started falling in love with the chemistry of color. And just doing it I thought, this is really cool. And it just kept going and going, and I kept pushing myself. I want to be good at this. I want to be good at this. And my dad taught me, if you're going to do anything, it's got to be 100% or don't do it. So I just kept pushing myself, and I just love it. I haven't looked back. I find failures are where I have learned the most. It was hard for me to grasp color. I was a disaster. I was a disaster. You should have seen me whenever I color hair. It was either orange. I remember turning someone's hair teal. Like, I was a disaster. I didn't understand how to color hair for 7 years, and I was working behind the chair. I had questions that no one could answer, and I couldn't figure it out. That's where Hair Color Magic came about. Because I don't consider myself analytical, but I think I am, to the point where I understood that I started recognizing variables. I see patterns really well is what happens. So I started recognizing these variables. Every time someone came in, their hair was different. So then I would write that down. And then what about their texture hair? You know, like, what about the hair shaft is skinny? I can't use that high developer. Last time I did that, it went too light. Like, that's how I was doing color. And that's where Hair Color Magic came out. I was using the same formula on everyone, thinking, okay, well, it's blonde. Let's see what happens. And it would not. It was just, that was the biggest failure, which I guess is my biggest success. It was just those little failures. I remember going into hair competitions. Do you remember the competitions where you would do haircuts? And yeah, I would do hair competitions, and I was like the Susan Lucci of the hair cutting competitions. I just couldn't. I would get 3rd place, 4th place, and then I just kept pushing myself, and then I finally won, and then I was done with that. So I just think my biggest failures are what pushed me the most. Instead of taking them as a failure and not growing from them, you know, like, because it can be devastating and make you stop. I wouldn't let that happen. I was a very stubborn little girl, and I'm a very stubborn old lady now. and I just look at whatever is in front of me as a challenge. I just turn it around to make it good. I question myself continuously, always, even with the show. You know, I had a great team, you know, that kept me on track, and it was really great to see, because I thought that, you know, these people kept me to where I knew I was good, and I felt the confidence still, and I was there, and I always question myself. Is this going to be enough? Is this going to be good for the class? Am I giving them what they need? Am I reading them correctly? Am I doing the right thing? Am I on the right path? You know, like, I always question myself. Always. Because I find that if I don't, I'll hit a wall. Something happens, and I'll be like, that was really dumb. I shouldn't have done that. I keep really good people around me. People I trust, people who I honor, and if I listen to my instincts, because I believe, you know, they were given to me for a reason, And I'm very good about my listening to my heart. And I think you're only as good as the people who are around you, because they keep you who you are. And I think that helps me the most. I hashtag never stop learning. And that's the golden ticket. I think when someone isn't trainable, teachable, or able to take information from a good place or a safe place, and they don't keep growing or pushing themselves to grow, that's when the success stops. It's important to keep growing ourselves. And even if someone says something to you that you don't like, or it hurts your feelings, or you don't want to be in that class, or it's intimidating, to be uncomfortable is the best feeling to have. That's how you know you're growing. And if you're not growing, then you're not going to be successful. For years, I didn't. And I'm a stylist behind the chair still. And I didn't charge what I was worth, because I didn't think what I was doing was right or good enough. I was good enough, not right, but good enough. And really, what is good enough? And it took me a long time to realize it will never be good enough if you're a good colorist, because you should always say, that's great, and next time I'm going to do this to make it better. That way you push yourself as a colorist. It took me a long time to figure that out, and I don't want our network to have to go through that. I think we're at the point where, as a sharer of information, I want to make sure everyone is elevated to the point where our industry is, like when people look at them and they come in, they honor what they do. So to charge what you're worth is the first part of recognizing confidence. To make sure that I do things 100%. It challenges me, but it really sets my standard high. I really have to make sure that I'm 100%. And that can be challenging sometimes, being tired. You know how it is when you're working all the time. I think that's probably one of the biggest challenges, is trying to be 100%. Give 100%. I think if I disappoint someone, I feel like, dang it, yeah. Or if a participant didn't get enough in the classes, or at the salon the team's feeling neglected, or someone's unhappy about something. I'm number 9 out of 10.
Kids.
Yeah. So I'm the one that's like, are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay? Yeah, I'm number 9 out of 10. So I think that's where that comes from. Congress. I think Congress pushes me. There's that feeling, that uncomfortable feeling that I get, and it's that feeling where your hands get, sweaty, and you can feel your heart beating, and there's that adrenaline rush, that uncomfortable feeling. I think that pushes me. Doing stage work pushes me a lot. Or even prepping. There's just prepping to get these colors done and making sure everything's perfect. Yep, that was uncomfortable. It was a moment, but it was good. Yep. Your first salon is going to start your career. And if you have any doubts, then it should be a no. Listen to your instincts. And it is okay to say no, even though you want it badly. Because if you get in the wrong place, it can be devastating. So interview them as much as they are interviewing you, and you keep your standards high. That would be one. The second is whatever critique that they get, listen to it, take what they need from it, and become the person or the stylist that they want to be, colorist they want to be. Not to let someone else's words break them. We have a choice. if something bad happens, we can either live here or we can take the lesson and move on to here. I feel like if we stay here, then we never grow. And that's part of the success part of it. Hair color magic, Luis gave me the first workbook that we had, and I was like, oh my gosh, what the heck was that, compared to where we are now. And that was embarrassing to me when I saw that workbook. I was like, what was I thinking? But, I still have it just to remind me, this is keep your standards higher than what, we're always growing. You're always growing. You're always growing. I'm at a crossroads. It's funny that you're asking me this because I don't know. I've been doing hair now for 33 years. I don't think I would ever want to stop doing hair. I don't think I'll ever want to stop owning a business because I do like having a safe environment for my team. And I think I'll always keep teaching. So I don't know. Something's got to give. I've got to slow down somewhere, and I haven't decided what that's going to be. I will say what I feel, what I know, what I observe, and without hurting anyone's feeling. I am very honest about what my answers are to people. I will never direct them, especially when I'm teaching, about hair color or about professionalism or about friendship even, or love. I'm very honest. I think that if you don't say the words, then you aren't you. If you say what you think people should hear, then you're not authentic to who you are. And how can someone love or like or connect to something that's not real if you're not using who you are? And that comes out with your words. That comes out with your words. That's why I have to be careful with the F word.
I think this is the perfect segue to our last question. What's your favorite curse word?
Oh, is it?
That's the last question.